Hello everyone, welcome to the Beer Garden. Today, Steve, Joshua, and myself are going to talk about the Sunday race card at Charene. I think it is going to be a massive race day because we are going to see some great horses as well as some great jockeys at Charene. Apart from the three Group 2s, aka the HKIR Prelude, we are going to have some great jockeys in the town. We have Zach Purton very likely to be returning to the track, and also we will see some familiar faces, including Blake Sheen, Hugh Bowman, James McDonald, and Michael Barcelona, who will also be riding on at Charene on Sunday. So there are lots of great horses and great races to watch. So first of all, we are going to talk about the three Group 2s and also followed by our best bet and value bet. So let us start with the first Group 2 we are going to discuss, which will be race 6. It is the Jockey Club Sprints, a Group 2 over 1200 meters. There is a full field of 14 runners here. Joshua, which sprinters is your favorite in this race?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Wellington here. I'm not sure there's going to be a lot to say about this race because after they ran first up, uh,
Yeah.
it's hard to go away from him. I strongly believe only a poor run or bad luck beats Wellington here. First up was immaculate in that Premier Bowl, where he beat 11 of these 14 runners by a length. It now meets most of them better at the weights from that run, and he's had a nice trial to keep himself ticking over, which is always good. To give you a good indication of how good that first up run was, his best first up figure, it was his best first up figure in his career, and he almost matched his best figure to date of his entire career, which his best was his Group 2 win last preparation in the Sprint Cup. So he almost bettered that in his first up run, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. Barry Seven's fine. The pace will be on. I just think with even luck, he wins this race. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of talk about that. The still up and comer in Lucky Sweetness. But he's again drawn poorly. Zach knows that he's going to have to go forward on this horse again. So will Wellington get the tail in again? I think he will. As I said, I only think luck or a bad ride will get him beat tomorrow.
Yeah, so number one, Wellington for Joshua. I agree that last time his performance was just brilliant. Do you agree with that, Steve?
Yes, it's hard to disagree or add much more to what Joshua said. He was very good on his return in the Premier Bowl, and what's even better is now he meets him on at level weights, which is obviously a great advantage. Gate 7's fine. He's not on the outside. He's not hemmed in on the rail. And Lucky Sweynesse, the horse with the potential, has gate 11 and with 10 speedy horses on his inside. And the fastest horse generally wins, and it's hard to imagine Zach Purton being able to do anything other than get out as quickly as he can and get to the front and avoid trouble. And that's maybe the only thing that is in Wellington's way is we don't want to mention that the HKIR, anything can happen in races, and obviously all you hope for is for a clean run for every horse. That's what we all hope for, and you would imagine Wellington should win. And I think not only Lucky Sweynesse drawn in 11, his other rival Skyfield drawn in 13, which isn't much good either. And Lucky Patch, winner last year, but disappointed last time. I thought he would have run better last time in the Premier Bowl. Quite a poor run there. He's well drawn, but doesn't seem to be a patch on what he used to be. Terrible effort there, at a pun. And Master 8, another horse that I thought ran quite well last time. Derek Young on board. But gate 12, again, most of Wellington's rivals are in double-digit barriers. So it might be the likes of Super Wealthy or Courier Wonder might run well, grab the placings. But for me, yes, Wellington. But I didn't like him enough to make him my best bet. I don't know what. He'll probably win, and I imagine he should win. But these races, they have a habit of looking back in the evening and thinking, "How did that happen?" And I just think he's I think he's a short enough price. He's probably a short enough price to actually have as a best bet when he's taking on, a dozen rivals. Nothing's that straightforward in racing, and for that reason, he's my selection. But you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. So Steve agrees with Joshua that number one Wellington in race 6. No doubt he is currently the best sprinters in Hong Kong. And I also think that he is one of of the best sprinters in the world as well. Maybe apart from him, I will go for number 11, Lucky Sweeney. This time, I still want to give the 4-year-olds one more chance, especially Lucky Sweeney with Zach Purton on board. Joshua and Steve just mentioned that he will break from the wide draw. However, I think it is quite good to have Courtney in the field, who is expected to be the leader. So maybe Lucky Sweeney from the wide draw can also follow Courtney from the outside draw and then to stay in front, especially with the best Hong Kong jockey, Zach Purton, on board. I think he is able to overcome the wide draw. After the run last month in the Premier Bowl, Lucky Sweeney is doing really well in the morning track work. So I believe this 4-year-old still keeps improving. So this time, I think Wellington is quite hard to beat, but the 4-year-olds, the up-and-coming horses, are still improving. So number 11, Lucky Sweeney for me. So it is definitely a good race to watch. So to recap, race 6, the Jockey Club sprints the Group 2 over 1,200 meters. Joshua and Steve agree with number 1, Wellington, and I will give one more chance to number 11, Lucky Sweeney. So the second Group 2 will be race 7. It is the Jockey Club Mile, Group 2 over 1,600 meters. Not a big field, only 7 runners. Maybe now I believe there are 2 market leaders in the field will be Golden 60 and California Spangle. Joshua, who do you like in this race?
Yeah, cracking race, this one. It's unfortunate in a way that King Shield is running in this race because he's going to be a bit of a pest to my on-top selection, which is California Spangle. The return of Golden 60 versus the informed California Spangle. They did meet each other last season, but that was after California Spangle went through that 4-year-old series, playing second fiddle to Romantic Warrior. He's back to a mile against Golden 60, which is a lot better this time around, especially being third up. I think this is his best chance to beat Golden 60. As we discussed before we went on, I think first up is going to be the chance for a lot of these horses outside of your Golden 60s, your Romantic Warriors, to have a chance to beat these horses first up when they're vulnerable. California Spangle's had 2 nice runs under his belt. First up was the best rating of his career. So I'll take that with a grain of salt if you want. Since those 2 wins, he's had a nice tick-over trial. He should be ready and raring to go. The tactics are going to be very interesting in this race because you don't want the champ Golden 60 to have a gutbuster first up into the campaign with the target being the international races in December. So it'll be interesting to see where they put him in the run, whether they're going to be close up behind so they don't lose track of California Spangle, or whether they just sit back and just do your normal run and concentrate on what's coming. So it's going to be very, very interesting. And interesting to note that Golden 60's only had 2 trials this time in compared to his usual 3. So I don't know whether that's just a change that they've decided to go upon or whether something's happened there. But Zach will lead on California Spangle. And again, it'll be interesting to see whether they make it a sit and sprint or play the catch me if you can. But I'm with the up and comer here, California Spangle, with Golden 60 first up. I won't be surprised if Golden 60 runs away with it. But I just think with the 2 runs under his belt, up and coming, he's ready to go. Zach's sticking with Golden 60's first up. I think this is his chance to knock off Golden 60.
Yeah, so Joshua goes for number 3, California Spangle. He is definitely one of an up and coming 4-year-old, 4-year-old in Hong Kong. He is definitely a great horse from gate 3. But how about you, Steve? Who do you like in race 7?
Well, there's a bit of some sentimentality, I suppose, with Golden 60 as well. 21 wins. I mean, I'd like to see him win again under his rider, Vincent Ho. And yes, California Spangle, he's certainly the new kid on the block, and he won well last time. It'll be interesting. You'd imagine Vincent Ho will do what he was doing towards the end of last season, which is ride a little bit closer, certainly not give the Spangle too much daylight. Won't be giving him plenty of respect, I should imagine. And yes, interesting to have 2 trials instead of 3. 7 years old. He's been on the block a while now, probably saves a bit for himself, but when he's good, he's very good. And maybe just this once, he'll still have the requisite class to beat the young pretender. So it's Golden 60 for me.
Yes, I definitely agree that this is a race between two horses, which are number one, Golden 60, and number three, California Spangle. And these two great miler in Hong Kong, who were the first and the second in last season's the Champions Mile. At that time, Golden 60 beats California Spangle by 2 lengths. But we see that this season, California Spangle improved a lot. On his first up over the Celebration Cup, he just lit till the end with the fastest final sectional. That was really impressive. But between these horses, if you ask me to pick one winner, this time I will still be on number one, Golden 60. But at this moment, I think that maybe in the HKI out in the Hong Kong Mile, I will go for California Spangle later. But this time, first up for Golden 60. Before this race, he just had a good barrier trial, I would say, because the recent barrier trial, he jumps really well and then he just stay wide to avoid the kickback, and then he showed a great turn of foot in the home stretch. And this time, I believe that Golden 60, making his seasonal debut, he is now at the top fit. And of course, California Spangle is really hard to beat, but maybe California Spangle will be the leader, one of the leaders, and Golden 60 can just stay in the midfield or even behind the leaders. So both horses can get a very good position in the map. So I'm quite looking forward to them. So I believe that this race will be they form a quinella, but I think at this moment number one Golden 60 is a slightly better than California Spangle. So to recap, race 7, the Jockey Club Mile, Joshua goes for number 3 California Spangle, and then Steve and myself agree with number 1 Golden 60. So let's jump to the final group 2 that we are going to talk about. That will be race 8. Jockey Club Cup, which is a Group 2 over 2,000 meters, a field of 9. Joshua, who do you like in race 9?
Sort
Race
of
8,
gone
sorry.
against, yeah, they're sort of gone what I said before with the first up, how they're vulnerable. But I've gone with Romantic Warrior first up over 2,000 meters, probably even harder than what Golden 60's got to do. But good horse, good rider, good bet. With Karis Teeton unable to ride, the Australian, or claiming him as an Australian, even though he's a New Zealander, champion jockey James McDonald will be riding Romantic Warrior first up here. What he did in his first preparation, Romantic Warrior, is absolutely immaculate, winning races from 1,200 meters right up to 2,000, having 8 starts and winning 7 of them. Yeah, he's had 2 nice 1,600 meter trials in preparation for this, and I'm sure the best jockey in the world has seen the tapes of this guy and will know how to ride him on race day. Much like Golden 60, as I said, this is their chance to beat him. But unlike Golden 60's race, I don't think there's a real standout here that could knock him off. It'll be interesting to see what J-Mac does from barrier 9. Much like Wellington, only a bad ride or bad luck can knock him off here, I reckon. All 3 favourites in these features will look to come through unscathed heading onto the international races. So it'll be interesting to see how all these runs pan out. Obviously, with Wellington, Golden 60, California Spangle, and Romantic Warrior, as I said, there's bigger targets coming up. How will they be ridden? That's going to be the query this weekend. But Romantic Warrior for me on top, I just think he's the class of the race. There's nothing really stand out. I mean, like, second pick's probably going to be Beauty Joy, but he does so much wrong in the run. He's a quirky horse. Even Zach's come out and said how quirky he is. Some days he wants to run up, and other times he wants to just laze about at the back. So Romantic Warrior for me, I think the class is just going to get him home here and give James McDonald a win in Hong Kong.
Great. Yes, it is interesting to see James McDonald will be on board number 1 Romantic Warrior in race 8. I think that it is never easy for a horse to win the Hong Kong Derby and the QE2 Cup in the same season, but Romantic Warrior just did it easily last season. So you can just imagine how strong he is. Although having some setback earlier in this season, he's now recovering well because he's still young and also still unexposed, I believe. So it is another great race to watch. Steve, who do you like in the Jockey Club Cup?
Yeah, Joshua and I have approached it from different ends the last 2 races because obviously in the previous race I was saying that I was sort of discounting California Spangle being match fit, and now when it suits my horse here, I'm now going for Tourbillon Diamond, who's match fit. So it suits the narrative, doesn't it? What horse you kind of like. I mean, again, Romantic Warrior looks like a leading chance, a fantastic horse. But he's gate 9 of 9 and Tourbillon Diamond. He warmed up for this with a very good second to California Spangle, and which, you can't get a much better prep than that. And in the QE2 Cup last season, he was a couple of lengths off Romantic Warrior. Romantic Warrior won. He was an odds-on favourite. Tourbillon Diamond was 20-1. And he actually reappears. He actually meets him £5 better off now. But who's to say Romantic Warrior hasn't improved by that much and more? So again, as Joshua was saying, you're looking at you would expect to look at the morning paper, as it were, and see that Wellington, Golden 60 and Romantic Warrior have won. But you always look for a weak chink somewhere along the line, somewhere that hasn't, who'd have thought this would have happened. And I just decided at prices more than anything, because Romantic Warrior is going to be quite a prohibitive price. I thought from gate 1, he might get the race run to suit Tourbillon Diamond. Alexis Bedell knows him well. He's a 6-year-old. He really is a consistent old stick now, Tourbillon Diamond. And if Romantic Warrior is perhaps slightly rusty, despite looking very good in the trials, then I think the likes of Tourbillon Diamond and the Wayward Beauty Joy look like being the chief beneficiaries.
Yeah, so number 4, Tourbillon Diamond for Steve. I definitely agree that he is actually an honest horse, always finishing close. Maybe a Group 1 race is a bit difficult for him, but this time Group 2 is very likely to for him to have some great performance. And I think that among the 3 Group 2s we are going to watch on Sunday, this race, the Jockey Club Cup, is the most wide open one, because I have another selection here that will be number 6, Senatoba. I would say that maybe 2,000 meters is still a bit short for him, but he already have 2 starts earlier in this season. The distance will just increase step by step, because he made his seasonal debut over the mile in the Charene Trophy, but he showed a great turn of foot to chase well. And last time, stepping up to 1,800 meters in the ladies' purse, I didn't believe that he can stay in front. However, he failed to keep till the end. Maybe it is a new riding tactic for him, and also 1,800 meters was still too short for him. But this time, another furlong to go, so 2,000 meters may be a bit more suitable for him. So this time, we see that Vincent Ho keeps on board and breaking from gate 3. I expect him to stay in the midfield. So after 2 good starts earlier in the season, I think that he is now much more stronger and quite fit recently. He is quite a lovely great horses. I also have some love to the great horses. So I think that Senatoba, which is quite a bit small in size, so maybe a longer distance this time will be suitable for him. So I will go for number 6, Senatoba. So to recap, race 8, the Jockey Club Cup, the Group 2 over 2,000 meters. Joshua goes for number 1, Romantic Warrior. Steve goes for number 4, Tourbillon Diamond, and I will have my selection, number 6, Senatoba. So apart from the 3 Group 2s, the remaining races are still good to watch. So let's talk about our best bets for the card. Joshua, who will be your best bet on Sunday at Charene?
Yeah, I'm going earlier on in the card in race number 3 over the 1,800 metre Class 2 event. I went with number 2, Running Glory. Not sure what price this guy's going to come up. It'll probably be short if everyone saw the first up run. He was over the 1,800 metres first up, settled near the field, and like usual, before making his massive run to the outside, narrowly missing on the line to rival Rise Brethren, who is in this race, had the perfect run. I was on Rise Brethren that afternoon. It was just absolutely perfect. Had there been any hesitation there, Running Glory wins first up. So he meets Rise Brethren a kilo better off for that narrow defeat, and gets the services of Zach Purton, which automatically adds a length or so to any horse. So he's had an easy tick-over trial. He should be ready to go on this one. The only query for me in this race is probably the slow pace. But looking through his form, his last win in May earlier this year over the 2,000 metres, the pace on the day was actually pretty slow, and he won well. So I expect him to have no issues here. I've got him marked around 380. I think he's going to be a lot shorter than that. So whether he becomes a bet or not will become on what price he comes up. Obviously, the prices aren't out yet. So, but I think Running Glory is the best bet on the card earlier on in the day.
Yeah, so the race 3, number 2, Running Glory will be Georgia's best bet in the cards. Yes, last time it was quite impressive under Vetna Borjans, and this time Cyprian takes the ride. The draw is again very good for him, and he also have some good second up result last season. So I also think that Running Glory is having quite a good chance. Steve, how about you? Who will be your best bet?
I went to the opener in race number 1, and that is number 5, Secret Vision. Whether I'll be awake to see it happen at 4:55 a.m. in Scotland
Yeah.
is another story. I'll see what the alarm does. Uh, but yes, I thought Secret Vision was interesting. He's Irish horse, ex-Irish horse. He won at Gowran Park in Ireland on his debut, and he won quite quickly, relatively quickly in Hong Kong on his 4th start, beating Powerful Wings over the 1600 metres. And last time I thought it was a very good run over that distance again. He stayed on really well from the rear to good effect. He wasn't beaten far behind Circuit Stella, who was a very commendable third in the Panasonic Cup on his next run. And James McDonald gets a very nice ride here. He's got a nice book of rides, obviously, with obviously the most anticipated one, Romantic Warrior. But starts here for Danny Shum with Secret Vision, who's still a young horse. He's only had 8 runs, 2 wins. And if they step up to 2,000 metres, has the advantage that I think is going to be, then he has a lively chance to win here in the opener.
Yes, that's interesting. Race 1, number 5, Secret Vision. I believe it's worth to wake up earlier to watch this brilliant race. Yes, James McDonald on Sunday, he gets 9 mounts, and most of the horses are from the Danny Shum stable. And Secret Vision will be the first one, and I think it is quite interesting to see him to stepping up to 2,000 meters. And I also believe it is quite a better distance for him. And for me, my best bet will be in race to the class 4 over 1,200 meters. I quite like the class dropper number 1, Ice Legend. Apart from dropping to class 4, which will be very where he is quite competitive here, and also gate 1 with Zach Curtin on board, seems there are so many advantages for him. And this race is quite interesting because nearly half of the field are some debutants, some new horses. They are quite having good talented, including I quite like I give number 9 and also number 10 Mighty Stride, which will be Michael Barcelona's the only ride on Sunday. But to go with the horses with more experience is better, I believe, especially Ice Legend, who showed some great performance earlier in class 4. He didn't really perform well in class 3, but this time dropping to class 4 again, he is quite competitive, especially with good draw and a good jockey on board. I think that the pace in race 2 may be a bit faster because most of the debutants, as shown in their barrier trial performance, they likely to be leading at some fast pace. So Ice Legend, who is expected to get the rail and stay behind the leaders, can have just a good position, especially Zach Curtin on board. I believe that this time he is a good chance to win again. So to recap, our best bet on Sunday: race 3, number 2, Running Glory for Georgia; race 1, number 5, Secret Vision for Steve; and race 2, number 1, Ice Legend for myself. So after talking about the best bet on the card, let's look for some outsider. Joshua, who will be your value bet on the day?
Yeah, I've picked a pretty challenging race actually. Just looking through some of it, there's multiple winners in this race, and a few horses coming back off long breaks, or like Lord Thunder and Travel Golf. But look, I landed with number 8, Golden Express here. You know, I don't usually tip foreign horses having their first runs in Hong Kong, but this guy's trials really impressed me. He was known as Golf of Venice in Australia. He was with the David Van Dyke stable, and he had his first race start in Doomben up in Queensland, and it was a 5.8 length win, and he did it easy. He's since had 3 trials since coming to Hong Kong, and his latest trial being his best, where he was an easy 1.1 length win over horses like Cordyceps 6 and Duke Y. Of the 5 trials on that day, his was rated the best in terms of overall pace throughout, and that was 1.5 lengths quicker than Wellington's trial. So I know the trials, a lot of horses perform on trials and come out race day and don't perform, but I thought that was a definite eye opener to have a look, because he wasn't really hard ridden in that trial. Now, this isn't easy. It's not an easy Class 3. You got horses like Sake Win, Science Patch, and Victor the Winner all engaged to run. But he has drawn well. He gets Purton aboard and maps to camp off this what is going to be a hot speed, I reckon. So I think we should get a nice price due to the quality of the field and the poor records of the horses first up from another country. I think that plays in the hands of what we might get for value. So I'm expecting a nice day for Zach Purton and the John Size stable. They both have some quality runners throughout. So I think we can get some value about, I hope, Golden Express in the 5th race. Hopefully the bookies are kind and put up a nice price for us.
Yes, I think so. Race 5, number 8, Golden Express, who will make his debut in Hong Kong on Sunday. Another horse ridden by Zach Purton from Gate 1. I think in this race, maybe Victor the Winner will be the favorite. And there are some another horses, including Island Golden, will also have some short prizes. So maybe Golden Express can have some good value because he's a debutant in Hong Kong, but he definitely have some good forms overseas in Queensland. And Steve, how about you? Who will be your value bet?
Well, I went back to race number 6, the Jockey Club Sprint, and of course, the love of my life last season was Courier Wonder. I still have his picture up on my Twitter page, but he's a bit like Fantastic Treasure, really. He was, 5 from 5. He started really well, then the wheels came off, and he was injured last year. But it's worth remembering he was favourite for the Jockey Club Sprint, a short favourite last year, and he got to the front under Moreira, and then he looked a bit green and wandered around under pressure. And he wasn't beaten that far. He was 5th from 10, beaten 2.5 lengths behind Lucky Patch. And he needed the run last time when he was 9th of 12 behind Wellington. And patently not good enough that day. But I don't think the race kind of went his way either. And he's had a trial since. He looked a bit sharper for that run. And I just thought at the prices, he's well drawn and Hugh Bowman on board. And if he steps up a month on, as good as a month on anyway, I thought he was an interesting horse at a price. If something, if Wellington doesn't give us running or there's trouble in running, I thought Courier Wonder might actually atone for maybe last year's disappointing effort.
Yes, so number 5, Courier Wonder in the Jockey Club Sprint in race 6. This time it is interesting to have Hugh Bowman on board. And right, I agree that the recent Barrier trials for Courier Wonder was much more better because he returned after a long spell last time out and it was not a really bad one. So I also expect him to improve again on Sunday. And for me, my value bet goes to the finale of the card. I quite like race 10, number 13, Tamwa Bliss. Yes, I think that in race 10, there are some good horses to beat, including number 1, Irimo, and also number 6, Decrypt. But Tamwa Bliss, this will be his first time stepping up to 1400 meters. I'm expecting him to improve again. And he's quite a lightly raced 4-year-old in Hong Kong. For the previous 2 starts here, he raced over 1200 meters. Maybe it was too short for him. However, last time, I think that although he didn't break well from the wide draw, but he chased well in the home straight, finishing 6th. It is not bad, but stepping up to a longer distance this time, he also proven that he can handle this distance before coming to Hong Kong. So I believe this time Gate 2 with Lau Hewson on board again, he will have some great value. So I will give him a each way chance. So number 13, Tamwa Bliss in race 10 will be my value bet. To recap our value bet on Sunday, race 5, number 8, Golden Express for Joshua, race 6, number 5, Courier Wonder for Steve, and race 10, number 13, Tamwa Bliss for myself. So that's all for our preview on Sunday. We nearly cover all the races in the card, so hopefully we can bring you some winner, and there are so many good horses and good jockeys to watch. Hopefully you will enjoy the race before the HKI out. We will see you next time for the Happy Valley preview. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.